What's up, Mustang fam, and welcome back to another video. If you're new on this channel, I make videos about my 03 Terminator SVT Cobra, or at least that's how I'm supposed to say it so that the algorithm picks up my videos. Also, before I get into this video about the Cobra today, I want to mention to you guys that I'm launching my second round. I'm launching new merchandise for the year, March 29th, which is Monday in a few weeks. I'm sorry, I don't normally make videos like first thing in the morning, so I'm kind of like, bleh. I'm usually like half asleep right now, but I'm going to do a lot of stuff this morning, so I'm going to go ahead and film a video with the Cobra. So today we're going to film a video about the pros and cons of adding cams to a Terminator Cobra. Without further ado, let's get started. So we're gonna start with the cons first, because I like to just get the cons out of the way, and then we're gonna go with all the good fun stuff. So one of the first cons to camming your 0304 Cobra is you're gonna have to warm up for a lot longer before you drive. And if you try to drive the car before it's warmed up, you could actually damage the motor, so don't do that. Let your car warm up before you drive it, especially if you should always do that, but especially if you get cams. Another big thing, and a lot of you guys probably already know this, but adding cams to a 4-valve is really expensive because you have 4 cams. Not only that, to change the cams in an 0304 Cobra, let me buckle up. To change the cams in an 0304 Cobra, you gotta take the motor out. So you've got 4 cams, you gotta take the motor out. Obviously you'll have to get a retune. After everything is said and done, camming an 0304 Cobra, you're gonna be looking at between 3 and 4 grand. I would know, I have cams. It's really expensive compared to camming something like an LS1 or an LS2 Corvette. It's really cheap. And so most people with 0304 Cobras just don't do it because it's not worth it unless you just really love the sound. That's what it kind of comes down to, and a lot of people will make fun of that, like, why? It's so stupid. You shouldn't get a cam just for the sound. I love the way it sounds, and it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter if the whole internet hates it and thinks you're stupid and silly. As long as you love it and it makes you happy at every single stoplight, do it. I got this little SCT tuner right here. It's really nice because it tells me precisely when the car's warmed up and not just what the gauge says on the car, because the gauge is really old. I've got 136,000 miles, so don't like to really rely on those gauges for that stuff. Another con is that cams on a Cobra, or just a 4-valve in general, they don't add that much power. You might gain like 20 wheel horsepower with a cam on a Cobra, especially if you have like the stock blower or like a 2.3 Whipple like I do. You're not going to gain a ton of power from cams. If you have like a really big blower and you get really big cams, then what will happen is the cams will multiply the power that you add from the blower, because the cams will be sending out more air for the blower to use. You'll get rid of a little bit of restriction, so you'll lose a little bit of boost, but your motor will become more efficient. But if you have a smaller blower, it doesn't really do that much. I actually lost power with this cam when I had to put it on the car, so that sucks. But once I had the Whipple, the 2.3 Whipple on it now, it actually gained a little more power than it would have without a cam. Probably around 20 horsepower. Some of you guys probably know this, some of you guys might not know this. If you cam an LS car, something like let's say an LS1 Trans Am, you might add like 50 wheel horsepower, which is way more. You're doing it with one cam, which is like a third of the cost of camming something like this car. So it just doesn't make sense on paper to cam one of these. Most people would just say and think like just get a Corvette and cam that, and don't cam your Cobra, because it's really expensive and you don't gain that much from it, and it doesn't chop as hard. I don't care. I wanted cams really bad with my Cobra. Ever since I got this car, I've had it 9 years. It was a dream. It was something that I wanted. And it's very rare. You don't see cammed Cobras like ever. A couple of other issues that you will notice if you cam your 0304 Cobra is the number one, if you get something like I've got, which is a stage 3 comp cam, and it's not, you know, a special custom-built Kurgan cam, it's not going to have as good drivability. Now, you can go and get a Kurgan cam. I didn't have in the budget to spend, you know, over $2,000 just for the cams, so I went with comp cam stage 3 because they were a little cheaper. harder to get off the line with a clutch, with a manual. It's gonna sputter a little bit sometimes. It's not gonna run as smoothly and as cleanly as a Cobra without a big cam, or a cam. It's not gonna run as smoothly. A cammed Cobra is just not gonna run as smoothly as a Cobra with a factory cam. A lot of people watch my videos and they're like, why do you say so many bad things about other over Cobras? You just don't like your car anymore, do you? You just don't like it. Just get a 5.0 like everyone else, or get a Shelby. I know you're tired of your Cobra. You always make negative videos about it. I'm not making negative videos. I try to be objective so that people that are looking at getting Cobras or looking at modifying their Cobras can watch the video and not just hear the praise, but hear the things that you're going to have to deal with, so that you have a realistic expectation for when you mod your Cobra with a cam, or when you just get a Cobra in general. I love this thing. I will never sell it, but I try to be objective about the pros and the cons of owning one in 2021, and not only that, but modifying one in a certain type of way, like adding cams or adding a bigger blower, you know. I'm trying to help you guys out. We're pretty much warmed up. So a couple more things, guys, and then we're gonna be done with the cons, which is great because I want to talk about the positive things, the positive parts of camming your 03, 04 Cobra. So your gas mileage will take a little hit. Like, it's not a big deal, and it might just be because you start like sitting at idle way more than you would have before. All right, Mr. Explorer, go ahead. So your fuel economy is going to go down a little bit. You feel that bumpiness? You can't go and stop and go traffic, and you cannot lug. You can't lug around a cammed Cobra. And by lug around, I mean you can't just putt around in a parking lot. It does not work anymore. You'll be like, row, right there. If you've got a cam car, you know what I'm talking about. The last bad thing is that you will lose a lot of torque down low. Around 2,000 to 2,500 RPMs, even 2,000 to 3,000, you'll lose a little bit of that low end power. And that kind of sucks. But at the same time, you'll gain back that power up high. So what'll end up happening is that you won't spin as much down low. It'll give the car a little time to actually like hook up, and then up high it'll kind of take off, more like a newer Coyote motor, or like VTEC, yo. Camming your Cobra is like adding VTEC to it. But you know, you lose that power down low, just a little bit. It's not that bad, but you will lose a little bit down low. So let's talk about pros. The pros of camming an 03, 04 Cobra. There are no pros. If you do it, you're stupid. That's what a lot of people say. Not me. I love the way it sounds. So the biggest pro is, because no one does it because they're so expensive, you hardly ever hear cammed 03, 04 Cobras. It's a very unique sound. Every cammed V8 sounds different. So a cammed 4-valve with 4 cams is going to sound very different from a single cam motor like an LS1. And I personally love the way it sounds. You get this crazy valve overlap, crazy unpredictable cam sound. It's not as predictable as like the cam sound of an LS1, where it's just like a consistent chop. The cam chop from this car is like very unpredictable and like up and down and consistent and inconsistent. I'm like, you just sound like you're ready to just destroy something, and you're like this rowdy, uncontrollable little growling little monster, aren't you? You're like, that's what it sounds like. It just sounds like just untamed Darth Vader destruction. Another pro, which I've already spoken about a little bit, is that you gain power up top. So like 5,500 to 6,500, you're gonna gain a little bit of power. So whereas with a stock cam Cobra up top, you're gonna kind of feel it let out a little bit. It's not gonna be as powerful up top. With a cam, you're gonna feel it start pulling harder as you get into that upper RPM range band. The upper RPM band range. I'm trying to sound smart. Like, I'm still not to the point where when I talk about cars I sound like a mechanic, but I'm getting there. We're getting there. So basically, camming your Cobra is like turning it into a VTEC Cobra, yo. Another thing, when you do start to upgrade blowers, say you get a really, really big cam and all you have is a ported Eaton, you're probably not going to gain any power because the big cams are going to require a bigger blower than the ported Eaton, or you might even lose like 10 horsepower and be really upset. And you'll be like me, I need a Whipple now. But when you do start to upgrade your blower, you're going to notice a larger increase in power because your engine is now flowing more efficiently. Your engine is pushing out more air, so there will be more air to give to a bigger blower, which you will lose boost because boost is a measure of restriction, so you will lose a little bit of boost, but you will make more power on less boost, so your motor will be more efficient, which is what you want. It's what you want. You want that efficiency from the little 4.6 that could. This engine is like Thomas the Train. And when you add a cam to this engine, it's like Thomas the Magical Tree. That was a weird way to put it. But at the end of the day, the reasons to buy a cam for an 034 Cobra is because you're one of those weird people that's willing to spend 3 to 4 grand for 20 more horsepower and a sound. As you know me, I'm the sound guy. My car is literally famous for having Borla attacks and being really obnoxiously loud and having, you know, arguably one of the best sounds to some people. Some people don't like it. So if you like sounds, then you'll love the cam. You'll love it. It's great. Oh, as you can tell, I'm lugging around into a parking lot. It really does not like to lug at all. We're here at J-Speed. I digress. Away from J-Speed. Even though I'm here at J-Speed, I digress away from J-Speed. Getting cams will be great because at every single stoplight, you'll be like chopping and shaking and people will look at you and give you thumbs up. Even police officers sometimes. It's really nice. Even like mothers in minivans and like older people that are, you know, looking back at you like, oh man, I used to have a cam muscle car back in the day. It just makes every freaking one happy. Like, seeing 034 Cobras in general makes people happy, but seeing 034 Cobras and then hearing a chop behind it is just like double badassery. It's awesome. When you pull up at a gas station, you'll be chopping and people will look at you and they'll get all happy and excited. Everyone around you will start driving faster and they'll just fill up with testosterone randomly and try to race you and everyone else. It's like injecting adrenaline into yourself and everyone around you having a cammed 034 Cobra. It's pretty crazy. So what I'm trying to say here is on paper it doesn't make any sense. It's way too expensive. You're not getting that much out of it compared to like an LS cam. A lot of people think LS cams sound better, but if you're like me, you're not making a logical decision on like, oh, to make more power and be the best drag racer or whatever. It's not even all that functional. You're just really weird and crazy and you like that sound and you just like to sit there in your parking lot and listen to it chop, and that sound alone just makes you just so absurdly happy because as a kid you dreamed about having a something like a Cobra with a blower and a cam sound in the back, and like that's me. Like I'm that kid and I have that now, and it makes me really, really, really happy. So if you're that same kid and you're growing up and you want that cammed 034 Cobra, then do it. It's really expensive, but you can't put a price on a smile. You just can't put a price on the way that something like this build makes you feel. And a lot of people that don't think that way will never understand. A lot of guys build cars just to go fast, and they're just looking at efficiency, and those guys will never understand. They'll always think people like me and you that are into this kind of thing or doing this kind of thing are stupid. But me and you will love it. So it doesn't matter what everyone else thinks. If you want to cam your 034 Cobra, you're going to kill your drivability, you're going to hurt your gas mileage, you're not going to gain that much power. Yeah. But it's going to sound awesome and you're going to really smile a lot and enjoy it. I will say if you don't have another daily, don't do it. But if you do, do it. I'll see you guys next video. Much love.